What's going on, guys? Player Junior back with another video, and today, as you can see in the background, we did get invited to an invitational in our career to Netherlands. And yeah, so the reason why there's no sound at the moment is because I did have some music playing, which I didn't know that when I was recording that the music was playing from the desktop into my OBS. So therefore, obviously, yeah, because I do post commentary, so I record my voice after I've finished playing, so I do have music playing whilst I do play the game. But yes, so as you can see, we're at the Dutch Grand Prix, and yeah, we did, as you can see, we get that much money and that much acclaim if we do well in this checkpoint challenge, which I was like, why not, let's do it. I could have obviously turned it down, but why turn down free money and free acclaim, because I definitely knew I was going to be able to complete this invitational event. It was just basically sort of a matter of time, I guess, of how long it was going to take me to do. But yeah, as you can see, getting into the Red Bull car here. So yeah, these invitational events are really good throughout the season because obviously, like I said, you get good money and good acclaim. Yeah, I was just a bit like, obviously this is the new track, I think, the new Dutch track, which I didn't really know, so I do quite bad here, to be fair, because I don't really know the track, and I didn't realise how quick it actually was. It's quite a quick track, so yeah, I just didn't really realise it, to be honest. And yeah, so I actually did the invitational event. I don't get when people turn down invitational events because they're really good ways of earning quick little bit of you know, a bit of cash and God knows what else. But yeah, this is obviously a good way of getting acclaim and money. So yeah, like I said, I did record a little bit before doing the invitational event, but obviously it didn't record, so I was kind of like, great. So all of that chatting and God knows what else I did before was for nothing, pretty much, which sucked, I can't lie. But anyways, you guys see like what's going on here. Invitational event, we do obviously complete it because it's going to be very unrealistic if we couldn't complete this, you know. So we do obviously get the extra cash. Obviously, like I said, this track is not my favourite track, so I've never really drove on it, so I don't really know the layout of the track, but I do find my comfortability obviously when I'm continuing to drive and go as quick as I possibly can. But yeah, as you can see, me almost losing the car just then. But yeah, so I do like the track. I can't wait to actually race in it in my career because it's going to be an interesting track. We're definitely going to need a quick car around this track, and the cars like the Mercedes are going to be able to zoom around this track like absolute like crazy men. So I make sure that I need to upgrade the car a little bit there. And yeah, so like I said, there's no sound, so I'll probably put on some little music on the background. But yeah, it kind of frustrated me because I didn't realise that, and obviously I want you guys to hear the car and all the talking and God knows what else. But sometimes it just can't happen as I go massively wide off the curb there. Coming around to this checkpoint here, we are obviously running out of time quite, not quite quickly, but we're getting the challenge done. I got more and more confident doing the invitational events, so I think I probably will always do an invitational event. I don't think there will ever be a time where I turn down an invitational event, because like I said, it's free acclaim and money, because obviously these invitational events are pretty easy. Like, it's very rare that you're going to fail an invitational event. But if you guys have ever failed an invitation event, don't hesitate to send me you know, your videos of failing the invitational events, because I will yeah, definitely check them out. Obviously check out my Twitter and that in the links below, because that's where I post. But yeah, as we come around to these corners here, running out of time even more, but like I said, we have already surpassed the invitational events things that they want us to do as the clock does run down. But yeah, I really do like these invitational events. They are really fun to do. Just, you know, just to go in a different car, I guess, rather than just being in your own car all the time, being able to try out a track like Zandvoort. And yeah, obviously sorry if I just butchered the name, but yeah, I think it's called Zandvoort or something like that. But yeah, as you can see, we did complete the invitational event. We passed, so that does mean we get our acclaim and our money. But yeah, after we come out of this, I'll show you, we did pick up a we did get the opportunity to pick up a brand new sponsor. Like I said, when I recorded before, you would have seen me pick up the new sponsor, and I would have talked about why I chose that sponsor and stuff like that. So yeah, we did pick up, I think it's our third or our second. Obviously we have our primary sponsor, and then we have another sponsor than another. So I'd say yes, our third one, obviously our primary one's Shark, and then you got Atlanta, and then I choose this next sponsor because obviously it was like get top 15 in a race, which I have been doing quite easily. So for me it was kind of just like, yeah, I'll take that on board. That's no problem at all. My only sponsor that I worry about is the Atlanta one, because it's like get 75 laps and I'm not realistically hitting that target, but it's fine at the same time because it's not like a completely failing at the sponsor. It's just I don't get the bonus for completing for completing the 75 laps or whatever it is. So yeah, getting back into the career headquarters here, in a minute it will pop up with what other sponsor I did go for. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head, so yeah, it will pop up in a minute. But yeah, like I said, I did record a whole thing before this, so yeah, it was kind of frustrating that I didn't get the chance to basically talk through why I chose this sponsor, but there it is. It's like Vincenzo or Italian 92 or something like that. But yes, that's why I picked them. So now in a minute it's going to come up with my pace lap from P3, so enjoy my pace lap. So, getting into my pace lap on P3 here. As you can see, there's a few things that have changed on my screen. I've obviously moved my thing into the centre of the screen, because there was a lot of times last race where I would want to look at my HUD, but because I'm having to look to the right, I was taking my eyes off to the road. So yeah, I thought if I move it into the middle there, I'll be able to not have to take my eyes off the road. It's all in front of my face here. But yeah, so moving into the pace lap here, I was very pleased with it. I feel like this track, the Chinese track, is a very nice track. It has a lot of quick sections, but as this first turn in here, I could never quite master it, to be honest. I didn't know how to sort of do the best through it. I felt like it was definitely a thorn in the side. You know, as you see, it is sunny in China, which I was very happy about, considering they were talking about rain, all sort of the practice, you know, qualification, the race and stuff like that. I was very pleased with that. It was sunny on the pace lap, because then I could definitely see what sort of pace the car was going to go at for the actual race itself. So I was very pleased with that. But the car felt as good as it always does, I guess. You know, but I did have a worry, because obviously in the last track we did come into some engine failures, which is kind of something new for me. So I guess it's something I need to keep an eye out for, because obviously if it's coming last race, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's fixed. So I need to make sure I do look at that engine and make sure that everything is fine, because I don't want to run into another engine failure, because that's like the worst, or just to sort of be in a good position and the car just go kaput because obviously the engine's gone. So yeah, I was obviously really sort of wary and worried about this sort of thing for the car. As you can see, I do believe that is Verstappen in front of us here. He is holding us up on our pace lap as we do go for the left side dive, but he absolutely slams into us and then just drives off like nothing. I was worried, because I thought, God, that's like gonna, you know, really hurt our qualification pace. But yeah, getting into practice, getting into an interview here. Let's see what she has to say.
Are you hoping things clear up before qualifying? Appreciate your time.
Getting into our qualification here, as you can see, it's looking very dark and gloomy as we come through the start line there, coming around to this right side. As you did see from that interview, I did pick Valtteri Bottas as our rival, as I felt like from the last race into this race, I felt like it was going to be very spicy between me and him. And like I said, because of the last race, I felt like Valtteri is the one that's going to be really testing this car. Like I said, you know, this car's performing amazingly up with the top teams. And yeah, I felt like Valtteri and Hamilton are the two that are going to get us. But because of our relationship, me and Valtteri's relationship, I felt like, yeah, Valtteri is the one who's going to be the most spiciest man. So now the pressure's on even more because I have to make sure I keep performing to keep up with Valtteri and Lewis and make sure that we keep that rivalry on and yeah, really show Valtteri who the man is. And yeah, coming around here, we did this qualification lap here, doing extremely well. You know, we're miles ahead of all and any other cars. So yeah, we did really well here. Obviously, because the Mercedes is sort of just on us in the little map there, but at the same time, we still kept up like a really good pace. And like I said, this track's a bit of a weird one because I was still trying to figure out the cornering and stuff like that. As you just see me check behind, they are right behind me and they are quickening the pace on this straight. I genuinely thought, yeah, this is where I'm going to lose it here, but we have better braking and better cornering, so we're able to take the Mercedes there. And that's a really big point about this car, is that it has great cornering and great, you know, downforce speed. So I'm very pleased with that as we come through here. Like I said, we were miles far better than any other car on the actual qualification itself. And yeah, we do come across the line in pole, which was kind of a shock really. But like I said, we did amazingly there. Like I said, the car's got great turn in and that. And obviously I went for the downforce too, which helps the car's turning and stuff like that. As you can see the podium pass going up as we play more and more. So yeah, but like I said, Valtteri was our rival from the last interview as we go scrolling down, trying to look for our teammate. But there is our teammate right near the bottom in 20th, and yeah, so it wasn't too great, but it was okay. But like I said, Valtteri is our rival now, so we need to make sure we keep the pace up on him. As you do see here, we did 2 green objectives. He only got 1 green objective. So yes, let's get into the actual Chinese Grand Prix itself.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today from the midfield teams, or trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you know, you got your own race to run, I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Bird lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Vettel, Charles Leclerc and Verstappen, Albon, Ricciardo, Norris and Carlos Sainz, Stroll, Ocon, Sergio Perez and Kvyat, Raikkonen, Gasly, Romain Grosjean and Antonio Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Giotto, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
As we do get into the Chinese Grand Prix here, waiting for the 5 red lights. There they are, the 5 red lights, and away we go with the Chinese Grand Prix. A great start from us, to be honest. We absolutely pulled away from the pack. They're absolutely amazing as we come to this right corner here with a little bit of speed. Didn't take the corner the greatest, but like I said in the training, that this corner is one that does cause me quite a lot of jip throughout the race. We don't really know how to take it, whether we need to go through speed, but it's a mixture really of speed and turning as we come onto straight here, pulling away from the pack. Like I said, the 2 Mercedes are both behind us, one of them being my rival in Valtteri Bottas. I just want to quickly say there's nothing against Valtteri. I absolutely love the guy in real life, but in this game he has been an arse to me, and yeah, he really hates me, so he is looking to take me out, and that is why I chose him as my rival. As we do come around the corner, it is looking quite dark and gloomy, I must admit. I do feel like it will probably rain at some point, so this will be our first wet race in this season at China. One of the more complicated tracks to be at, to be fair, as we do take that corner really badly there, and that allows Hamilton and Bottas to catch up on us. As you can see, the big thick white red markers behind us. I thought one of them was going to try and dive bomb me on the right side, but none of them did. Leading into the straight here, as you can see, no white markers behind us, so they are quite far behind us. As you can see us pulling away on the straight, but as you can see on the screen, the rain is starting to come down. I do check the weather report, and indeed I was right, it is raining, and I do think that we're going to need to go on to the intermediates, and yeah, just for the time being. So I'm thinking on the second lap here, we'll come round, and after this lap, I think that we do need to box up to get the intermediates on, because I feel like it's going to be a real challenge for us on this track, as we do set the fastest lap time. And I think if it is going to continue to rain and people going on wets and intermediates, I cannot really see anyone getting a quicker lap than that, which is really good for me in point standing, because that gives me extra points with the quickest lap. And if I do go on to win, as you can see, the thick white red markers coming behind us now as we come round into this corner, me having a little check over my shoulder there with Hamilton and Bottas just behind us, as we do go in for a little bit of late braking here coming around to this corner. Like I said, we did get the quickest lap coming in, and we are on the second lap, so I am thinking that we should definitely box this lap for the intermediates, as I can feel the tyres going a little bit, even though it's not completely raining, but I can feel a little bit of sliding from the softs. So I do believe that I am going to go for the intermediates in this lap. If not this lap, it'll be the one after, but I believe that I will be going for the inters after this. I'm just going to check the weather report once more, and as he does say to us, the weather is just deteriorating a little bit more as we do go on. So I do decide to look at my thing and go for the box on this lap, as that is Hamilton trying to steal it on the right side here. He is really pushing me. Yeah, I'm going to box this lap. I'm also going to pick out that I want the intermediates as I do come into box. I feel like this is going to be the perfect time to box, as Hamilton really does go for that dive there on the right, as I do slow up to try and look my thing. As you can see, Hamilton really pushing hard on the right side there. I just need to keep my position as I am going into box this lap, and if Hamilton is also going to box in this lap, obviously Jeff's trying to get us to box on the third lap, I think it was, but I've decided to box this lap. And like I said, we really needed to keep ahead of Hamilton there as we do come into the pit lane here, but Bottas has just taken the lead, as he has decided to stay out on the track as we do come into the pits here for the inters. And I feel like this is going to be the best option, is to go on the inters, and then if it gets any worse, then we're going to have to go on the wets a little bit later on. But it's better to take the risk, be on the inters for a while instead of going straight wets and then losing the time speed, as the pit crew does absolutely phenomenal there to still get me out ahead of Hamilton. Hamilton's right down the pit lane as we do come out here back onto the track. The Inter's feeling a lot better already. I feel like I can get a lot more control and speed in these tyres. I've just got to make sure I heat them up as we do come around this corner now, quite gingerly to be honest. And we come around to the left side here. Like I said, you do have Bottas and a few other people ahead of me, but they're going to need to pit, so I should be able to pick my P1 back up from them. As we do come into this corner here, you can see I believe that is the Alfa Romeo, and I can't tell what other car that is, but as we do come down here, we will catch them. We'll hopefully be able to pass them before, otherwise they're going to hold us up massively, and then Hamilton's going to have a chance to catch us up. But I think we're going to be able to get one of them here. I do believe that is Raikkonen there in the Alfa, or is that, I can't really, I think that's Magnussen in the Haas. And then you've got, I think that's Giovinazzi ahead, or Kimi Raikkonen ahead of him there. As I do almost lose the back end of the car there. Oh my goodness, the rain is really affecting as I go for a late break on the Magnussen there. And that is indeed Kimi Raikkonen just ahead of us inside the Alfa Romeo. We do go for a switchback onto the right side to overtake him, as he will be holding us up all race otherwise. Hopefully they can hold up Hamilton just as long as they can. As you can see, the rain is starting to come down. It's starting to get a bit torrential here in China, which is not really a shock, because we did get told that rain would be on the cards for this race. So in a way, I'm kind of not shocked, but I am shocked at the same time, as we do a massive late break there and completely almost lose the whole car on that corner. As we come into the straight here, Ocon is definitely going to be going into the pits this lap, as you can see. So now we will hopefully be able to climb the positions and get our P1 back as we do pass Valtteri in the pits. Goodbye, Valtteri. See you later, mate. He is in the pits. He is still in P2, so we got to try and make up as much time as we can whilst he's in those pits and try and pull away from the pack massively and extend our advantage. And yeah, just really pull away here. Obviously, I can't tell exactly how much we're going to pull away here. As you can see, Valtteri is now coming around the corner. We just did. We are really starting to make momentum and really pull away from the pack, like I did say. But I am seriously contemplating on going to the wets here because the Inters are feeling good, but I think this rain is just not going to stop. I feel like it's just going to get heavier and heavier throughout the whole of the race, and then we will, you know, get some spin outs because of the rain and how wet it actually is. So coming around to this right side here, having to make sure we don't go too quick because obviously we don't want to lose the whole of the car. So yeah, we've done extremely well as far up to this point, as we're trying to make sure that we you know, keep up the pace and not lose any pace at all. Jeff is telling us that we have just spun out. We've just spun out. Like I said, the Inter's feeling bad, but luckily we do have the track reset. But yeah, like I said, the Inter's feeling a bit crazy, bit slippery already, and they've only been on as we do check over the engine because Jeff did say that we have got a power issue. We're looking at how far behind Bottas or Hamilton is behind us, but we did get our first spin out there, which is not a shock really, to be honest, because of this rain. And as you can see, that's me hard braking, and still I was sliding forward even as much as even though, like I said, I was hard braking as I come through here with a little bit of pace. But yeah, we've just got to be so careful when touching those sides now, because they are the opportunity to spin out as we do come across the line here. Coming round to the first corner there. As you can see on the map, nobody behind us, but we need to make sure we keep on our game. As we keep on our game to make sure that we keep this lead as strong as we can, as this corner, like I said before, is a massive pickle to us. So we are, you know, in trouble there. We need to make sure we keep up the speed through those corners. Otherwise, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, like I have said down the line before. But yes, as you see us go off track there, because we're looking at the intercom there, looking at the weather, seeing if it's going to clear up at all, and it doesn't sound like it is, to be honest. But they're still saying Inters are the best tyre. I do not agree. I feel like wets would be better, but I'm going to keep going on the Inters because they do believe Inters are the best tyre, and I'm sure when the weather report does change they will let me know. As you can see, I'm just doing absolutely phenomenal here, pulling away from the pack as much as I can. I'm literally in a league of my own at the moment with the speed, but all I can say is GG's to the pit crew, because they're the one who got me out so quickly in front of everybody else when I did go for that pit. But if I do pit again, it is a worry because all the cars behind will be able to catch up when I am in the pit, but I know that they're going to have to pit themselves, as this rain does not seem like it's going to hold up anytime soon. But for me, throughout this race I was a bit worried because, as you probably hear, Jeff is saying about the engine, and the engine isn't feeling as strong as it is. You know, if I'm going to keep up this speed, I've got to make sure that the engine is at maximum power. But like Jeff said, it isn't pushing out maximum power. So like I said, one of my worries before this race was my power engine, and it has come to haunt me. So this is something I need to look at before going into the next race, as we are still quite ahead, as I do check how far behind us people were behind us. But like I said, we're in a league of our own. We didn't really need to worry about that. But yeah, we obviously are losing time, but that's because we are on the Inters now and it is wet. Like I said, nobody's going to be able to beat my personal best time because nobody's on the softs, and yeah, the Inters aren't the quickest of tyres. We do come around to this right turn here. Like I said, the tyre is horrible for me, and yeah, I could really feel the car like sliding on the turns here. So I was kind of like, I needed to find a mixture between power and control, otherwise I would lose the car completely, as we have had one spin out so far this race, and I'm sure it's not going to be our last spin out, as we do come into this very heavy there. That was very bad braking by me, as we do almost lose the car. As you can see, I had to snatch back control of it because it would have just gone straight into the barrier. As we do come around to this left side, the tyres did feel more and more slippery. I know you can't really tell it from the video, but I'm telling you now, when I was driving this car, I could feel the car really slipping away at points on these turns. That's why I have to go through so slowly, and I was very aware that the slower I go, the quicker those people behind are going to catch up with me. But it was the least of my worries at the moment. So yeah, as you see me keep checking who's behind me, because I know that I had to go slow through these corners, otherwise I was going to lose the car in this rain. But then I did think to myself at the same time, they're probably having to go through the same situation just as I am with the turning. There's no way they can be absolutely hammering it through the turns. So we come onto the straight here. I feel this is like the only point where we was able to just sort of really let go of the engine. But as Jeff has said throughout the race, the engine is going, so it is a big worry and something that I need to definitely look at before the next races. We do a bit of late braking there, very late braking, but we still get a good corner there. So yeah, I was risking massively with these late brakes, but as you can see, Hamilton is just gaining upon gaining on me. But in good news, Bottas is quite down the ladder, so I'm very, very pleased about that. Bottas down into P5, so for the rivalry, that's kind of good, as even if Hamilton overtook us, Bottas is down in P5, so the rivalry, I'm absolutely blasting the rivalry at the moment as we do come onto this right side very slowly and gingerly, but it's fine. That turn is probably my most worst, and it's something that I need to improve on as a driver in this game, is that, you know, I need to make sure I get better at my turning and stuff like that. So I'm looking behind us once more, and yeah, nobody is behind us. So as we do break through this corner here, doing really well. Like I said, we are in a league of our own in this race especially. It did feel like nobody could catch us. As you can see, Hamilton's only just doing the corner we did about 10 seconds ago, which is absolutely crazy here as we do break into this corner. So I knew that at this point when I was racing, I was kind of like, I can take it a lot easy, you know, go slow through the corners so that I don't lose the rear end of the car or anything like that. And I didn't really need to take any sort of risks, to be honest, as I do look at the full race update. But yeah, I felt like we didn't really need to take any risks. We could go slow. We are so far ahead of everyone else. I didn't really need to have to worry about that sort of thing as such. So yeah, as we come down onto the straight here, as we do keep checking behind us, because I was so worried at this point. I was like, we're going through these corners a bit slowly, but then, you know, back to now re-watching it, I didn't really have to keep worrying because there was no need to worry. Hamilton would have to do the same as what we were doing. And yeah, as I do check the weather report, because it did feel like it wasn't going to give up any time soon, should I say, as I come into the straight for the finish here. Not for the finish, but for, you know, onto the straight. I was worried because I thought I'm going to have to go onto wets at some point, right? I'm going to have to. I knew it was going to be, you know, something that I would have to do. And for me, it was just the sort of thought in the back of my mind, because I thought, when am I going to do this? I don't want to lose the position that I'm holding because I'm doing so well at the moment. But I know that that pit stop, when I do have to go onto those wets, it's going to be able to give people a chance to get back into the race. So I knew that if I am going to have to go and pit, I'm going to need to make sure I pit earlier than what any of the other racers are going to, because otherwise, like I said, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble with that, as we are still far ahead. Almost losing the car once more. At this point, it was getting a bit dangerous out there on the old inters, because, you know, it was just getting wetter and wetter and wetter and wetter. And I thought by now the rain might have held up, but no, obviously it was still absolutely coming down very heavily onto the car, as as I said, I kept losing a little bit of control of the car, you know, but at the same time it was kind of like something I had to remember and be like, okay, right, I need to keep an eye on this. And yeah, but being so far ahead, it's a good position because you can just take your time on all these corners and, you know, not make any mistakes. And if you don't make those mistakes, then you're definitely going to be far ahead. But going into this race, I didn't think I'd have this much dominance that I have got, but I guess the rain has really helped out, and I guess having a good pit crew, you know, throughout that is just absolutely amazing. And yeah, my team's done an amazing job in this race so far, as I do break a little bit late coming into the corner there, but we do get a good turn in the end. So yeah, but yeah, I love this track. This track's probably up there with one of my tracks. I prefer it when it's dry rather than it's wet, but I kind of was happy to see a wet race because I didn't think I was actually going to get one all season, but we actually have. Yeah, but the car, considering it had a bit of engine damage, it seems to be doing pretty alright. I always knew that we was going to get the points for the fastest lap, because there's no way, when the rain came, nobody could have set a faster lap than what I had set. You know, obviously they could have done on their softs on the last push they did, but nobody managed to. So we're going to get the points for that, and hopefully the points for P1 if we can keep it. So yeah, as we do check our tyre conditions, obviously they're going well, the inters, we are on lap 9. So yeah, as I do lose the control of the car once more and it does reset me back on the track, I'm very happy I do have that assist on, otherwise I would have been lost there. But as you can see how bad, I've lost the car twice in this race, and that just shows how wet and horrible it was. I wasn't even going in that corner with any speed, that was just low speed, but it shows the conditions are worsening on some of these corners, because even at low speed the car is spinning out. So this was something I definitely needed to think about, thinking about when to maybe box and go on to the wets. So yeah, as you can see me checking the weather, it's saying that it is going to be heavier rain incoming, even though this feels like heavy rain anyway. So I guess in this race we're very fortunate to be in P1 because there's no one in front of us giving that splashback. I feel like when it's raining like this, driving behind someone is the worst, because obviously you can only see their red light and the splashback is horrible to drive past. But like I said, I'm absolutely just caning this track. I'm far ahead of any other racer behind me, so I could take this very nicely. But like I said, I've had 2 spin outs, so it shows that, you know, in this game, if it is wet, the tyres will go and it will spin out, and I feel like that is something that I was ready for, but I was just like, had to keep an eye on now. And yeah, luckily I have the track reset on, because otherwise Hamilton would have got us twice, I think, to be honest. Coming through the start here now on the 10th lap, 4 laps remaining. At this point I was thinking, is it worth going on to the wets? It's only 4 laps, but then at the same time, like I said, I've had 2 spin outs, and this is something that I needed to think about, is that obviously I don't want to throw the whole race by doing a pit, but then I don't want to throw the whole race by having to spin out and lose all my positions. As you do see, they are gaining on me now, but not as much as I'd like, as we do go way off track there. But yeah, look at, like I said, they are gaining on me, but we are doing extremely good, keeping our position high. But yeah, I do keep checking it, because I think if I'm going to go for the pit, I want to be as far ahead as possible, so that when I do pit I don't lose any positions. So just go in, pit, out, and then hopefully those cars will be coming into pit, or they're only just coming around that corner, so then by the time I leave I'm still going to be in that P1. I do not want to drop any positions, because like I said, in the rain trying to overtake or drive behind someone is the worst because of the spray, and you don't know exactly when they're going to stop and stuff like that. It is just an absolute headache to think about. But as you can see, the car losing it a bit there. So as you can see, the MFD, they're telling me to check it, so they do want to go onto the wets, as I do spin off once more, and I did feel like, you know, that's the 3rd time the car span off, and I felt like, yeah, okay, it's time to go onto the wets, as we do want to go onto those wet tyres. I feel like we're going to go ahead and do that. The weather report obviously is looking absolutely rubbish, so we are going to go onto those wet tyres, as I did spin off for a 3rd time there, as we do brake, and we are pitting this lap onto the wet tyres, which felt like, okay, it's a risk, but I guess everyone else is going to have to do it, because this rain is not going to hold up at all, as we do come into the pit lane here, which was a big worry, because I thought people were going to overtake me now. So we do come down into the pit lane, but yes, so we're going to go onto the wet tyres. Nobody is behind us as it stands, which is good, so hopefully we'll be able to get this pit off and go straight back out into 1st. I'll be surprised if anyone else is not going to go onto the wets, as you do see here, I do believe that is Valtteri Bottas still out on his quick lap, as we do get a good quick pit off there, as we do speed back out. We didn't lose hardly any positions, we kept our basically we almost kept our P1 with Bottas ahead of us, but he is going to have to go onto the wet tyres at some point himself, because he is still on those inters, and those inters are just not going to last. As you have seen, I've spun out 3 times on those inters, so he will be pitting the next lap, fingers crossed, and we can regain our P1. But Bottas was in P5, and now he has you know, he has got all those positions back up, as I did hit the pause button when I was recording by accident. I didn't realise, as we do brake now into this right-hander. But yeah, let's continue. I don't know why, when I was recording I did hit the pause button by accident, and yeah, so as we do come round now into this left-hander, with Bottas just ahead of us, our rival is ahead of us. I'll be surprised if he doesn't pit this lap. If he stays on the inters, that is a very ballsy move by Mercedes and also Bottas, because obviously it is so slick and wet out here. Yeah, like I said, it would be a surprise if he does not pit at all. So they're just telling us we've got a few laps of fuel remaining, but as you can see, he's having to slow down a lot more because of the inters, because otherwise he's going to lose it completely. But we also have to slow down. As you can see, the condition is just getting absolutely worse and worse. The whole screen is absolutely covered in rain. I can barely see Bottas just ahead of us there, which is obviously a big worry because we want to see who is ahead of us. But like I said, I can barely see Bottas just ahead of us. And yeah, if he is to pit this lap, then that is a very late pit for Bottas, and that could be crucial in this race because he will lose so many positions, I'm sure of it. As we do look at the race summary coming around to the other side. So Bottas has actually gone to pit, which is kind of like, you know, a shock really, because it's like Bottas, you know, is pitting that late, so he's going to lose quite a lot of positions there. But he is still in P2, as you can see, so maybe he might be able to keep that P2. Who knows? But it depends how quick Mercedes can get him out of that pit and back onto the track. With Bottas in P2, obviously, but as you can see, he's now dropping down the margins with Albon second and Hamilton in the third position as we do come through now. But we are still miles ahead. We have regained that space that we did have before, and yeah, we are absolutely miles ahead of anybody else on this track as we do come onto the left side here. But like I said, Bottas has gone down quite a lot there. I believe that, you know, you've got Verstappen, Vettel, Hamilton, Albon and myself, so Bottas is probably quite far down. He's going to need to regain some of those spaces that he has lost due to that late pit done by his crew here, which I was kind of shocked about, to be honest. I thought they would have I think they would have basically, you know, done a lot better there and got him in earlier. But as you did hear, it is on his last legs part of my engine, which is really bad. But as you can see, Kvyat is out of the race. So let's just have a quick look at what happened to Mr. Kvyat here, as he does lose power and he does slide off to the left side here. But yeah, getting back into the race itself. But yeah, so Kvyat is out of the race due to rain conditions, which is obviously very bad for the race itself and for AlphaTauri there. So as we do come around to the right side here, and yeah, so like I was saying, Bottas, you know, he could have done, his team could have done a lot better and got him in a lot earlier than what they did. But I guess because they had to get Hamilton in as well, you know, they had to think of a better pit strategy. As we come on to our 13th lap here, coming through now. The rain hasn't eased up at all. I thought it would have a little bit by now, but no, it is still absolutely hammering it down. As we do get a yellow flag here. I do believe this is where Kvyat is. There he is, Mr. Kvyat, onto our left side. So we do brake here. I believe that was a power engine failure, to be honest. Another one in this race, as we have seen, and maybe it is something telling me that I need to look at my engine, because this is the third race now where we've had a power engine failure. So maybe it's the game telling me, Jake, look at your bloody engine, because otherwise that's going to be you in a few races time. So yeah, but as you can see, I'm just miles and miles ahead of any other car in this race. You know, I feel like I've absolutely smashed it this race. My team's absolutely smashed it with the pit strategies, and yeah, I felt like the lap 2 going on to the inters was a great choice. Obviously we had a long stint where we was on the inters, but I knew that my tyre management is very good, so I was able to keep the tyres as good as they possibly was. So as you can see, the Hamilton has now moved up to second, and you do have Verstappen, but Bottas there, as you can see, just in the top left hand corner there, has just popped himself up to 5th place. So Bottas has brought back what he did lost, and yeah, that's pretty good for Bottas to be in P5, but it's even better for us because he's so low down the board. But I'm sure Bottas will probably make up a few more spaces before this race is over. We only have pretty much one lap left after I come around here onto the final left-hander, which is going to lead onto the straight. So I'm just checking over the car, and I did hit pause once again, which I feel like the control, I think my foot pedals were a bit weird, so I had to hit pause again as I do come around to this left side here into the straight itself, as we do come on to the last lap here. So yes, as we do go into a bit of braking here down to the right side on the final lap here. Nobody in sight. This is a race that I can absolutely savour because I have done so well here in these wet conditions. Great pit stop strategies by my team, and yeah, we have absolutely smashed it this race. Nobody in sight. This is going to be an easy win for me. P1 once again on a track I didn't feel extremely confident about. We had 3 spin outs due to the weather conditions, but that did not stop us from getting this P1 once more. Our team is absolutely smashing it. As you can see, the petrol thing flickering away there. I thought this is one of my big worries, is was I actually going to be able to finish the race because of petrol. But and then even if my petrol goes, I felt like nobody was behind me, and we could have we were still doing absolutely amazingly, and we didn't have to worry about that because, as you can see, we are just so far ahead of anyone and everyone behind us. So we did absolutely amazingly on this race. But yes, the wet conditions were interesting for me because obviously first time having to race in the wet, and I didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't expecting as much torrential rain as it has got, the torrential rain coming onto the straight here. But we've done absolutely amazing. The team's done amazing, and Bottas is still in P5, so I'm very pleased about that. So I cannot complain at all. And as you can see, Hamilton is behind us, is 26 point something seconds, so that is a very big margin for us as we come round here onto this left-hander leading onto the straight just before the checkered flag. As we come round to the left, speeding through, checkered flag, and we do finish the Chinese Grand Prix in P1 as we come across the line in P1. I could not absolutely believe it. What a race in the rain, and thank you so much to the team, thank you so much to everyone who helped out there. Driver of the day is Kimi Räikkönen for Alfa Romeo there, so I cannot believe we did so well there. The team did amazingly. As you can see, my guy is happy. There's a bit of rain on the lens, and yeah, we just did absolutely amazing in that race, and just to be able to hold off as much as we did is just absolutely phenomenal. As you can see me climbing out of the car here in P1, it is absolutely tipping it down still, but yes, absolutely amazing by the team, and pit stop strategy was absolutely amazing as well, coming in on the second lap and then getting the wet tyres. But luckily we made as much space as we possibly could to be able to, have that good pit stop strategy as we do come on here and jumping up and down onto the podium. Hamilton second, Leclerc third. What an absolute race, what a turnout. Great for Mercedes not to have 2 people on the podium for once as well. But yes, P1 again for us. We are catching up. We are, getting loads of points for the drivers. The Drivers' Championship. Constructors, like I said, is very unrealistic this season because Mercedes are just so good, and we need obviously, no disrespect to Giotto, but we need a better driver in that second seat, as the podium pass does go up a little bit there, which I'm very, very pleased about. I believe we do go, yeah, we get a lot. We go up to tier 9 straight away, which is really nice. And yeah, so that race was amazing. The pit crew did absolutely amazing. As you see, I am in P1 and Lewis Hamilton second, and yeah, a Ferrari in third. But coming through now, which like I said, the race was a very good race, very hard fought race, but I felt like we did extremely well. And now let's get into the interview and see what she has to say.
Safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it? How do you feel the weather affected the outcome today? Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with that crash? appreciate your time.
So that is the end of the interview with her. You know, she's always got the tough questions to ask after the race, her and her cameraman. As you can see us do a rivalry breakdown, we pretty much did everything better than Bottas there. We also got a bit of better acclaim, so we did get a big payout there, obviously getting the 15th, but we didn't quite do the 75 laps like I said before. But we are doing very well with our cash and money. But yes, guys, this has been the end of this episode. If you want to see another F1 2020 episode, do let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment, and all support is very, very grateful. And I've been Player Junior. I'll see you dudes and dudettes in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace, guys. Woo!